Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Director Review. So today's a little different. First off, you'll notice that we probably came out a little late. Normally we come out on a Monday and a Friday. Today we're actually going to do a Monday show on a Tuesday because I'm on vacation and my sense of time is basically horrible. Also, we wanted to try out a brand new show. Not that we didn't like doing binging, but Celeste and I were thinking, hey, what's another thing that we both love that we could talk about?
That we can binge.
That we can binge. Literally, though, what we're about to talk about, her and I could sit all day with very little interludes and just watch. And that is musicals. Welcome.
All day, every day.
Welcome to Musical Monday. Well, on Tuesday.
Musical Monday on Tuesday.
Yeah. Don't worry, we're not going to continue doing it on Tuesday. We're going to continue doing this on Monday, but for now, Musical Monday on Tuesday. All right. So, what is this going to be about? Well, we're going to try and talk about both musicals that you can stream eventually and musicals coming up. And I think it's important to talk about musicals coming up because I feel like not enough people are exposed to musicals properly.
What do you mean by properly?
Okay, so I have a lot of friends that hate musicals, but it's because they've watched bad musicals or old musicals that didn't interest them. But what they don't know is that you can watch ones like Across the Universe, Hairspray, the remake, not the 1980s one.
Although still fabulous.
Although still fabulous, but Tracy Turnblad obviously is way better in the newer one. And also John Travolta as the mother is crazy good.
He is gold.
He's so amazing. But you can watch things like that, and they're entertaining, and they don't take themselves too seriously, and it's not for the Broadway snob. You know, it's for everybody. Now, don't get me wrong. I love a good Sound of Music, Mary Poppins.
I love the Sound of Music.
But they're not for everybody.
That's true.
And they can be very boring and long and very long.
That's the thing. When I talk about the Sound of Music, everyone's like, yeah, I think I watched that when I was homesick.
Yeah, because it's one of those...
like so long.
Exactly. So unless you're a really big musical geek like you and I are, you don't necessarily like it. But then there are those gems out there that get everybody together. And we're going to talk about one that's coming out during Christmas time. I hate that they say coming out on Christmas because it's not true. It's like, in theaters on Christmas. That is true, but it's not coming out on Christmas time. Do not lie to me. Anyways, this is called The Greatest Showman. Yes, this is the P.T. Barnum life story, which has some very interesting tones for this year. And it didn't even intend to be that way because Barnum and Bailey, the greatest show on earth, is over. It closed its doors this year, early January 2017, had the last shows in May. So that's kind of an amazing coincidence because they didn't know this was going to happen. I don't think they did. Hugh Jackman might just be really smart.
It's my time.
He just knows. But we need to talk about this because, today I was in the theater watching a film and it came on and I'm like, oh my God, I cannot wait. But the person that I was with sitting next to me was like, oh, that actually looks cool. And he normally hates musicals. So let's get into this. So, Greatest Showman. This is about the life and legacy of the greatest showman, P.T. Barnum, of Barnum and Bailey Circus. Basically, starting with his early life, when he gets fired while being an accountant, I believe it is, and then taking you through his creation of a show. Obviously, there was a big backlash because any kind of freak show back then was seen against God or against normal society standards. And
not celebrated by Gaga.
No, not celebrated by Gaga at all. You were, when you were called a little monster, you should run because they were going to come after you.
Monsters.
Exactly. So this is this incredible story, beautifully written music. From what I've seen in all of the previews I've watched, which I've watched an absolute crap ton of them, this thing is just going to be amazing from beginning to end. Mind you, this is preliminary. It could suck.
It could suck.
But I don't think it will.
It's Hugh Jackman. I don't think it could suck.
Like, even if it's boring as all hell, you get to look at Hugh Jackman for at least 2 hours, and that's amazing.
Yeah, he got the booty, he got the abs, he got the
everything.
pipes.
Exactly. So we wanted to kind of go in the background of these people that are going to be in this movie. We're just going to highlight some of them because obviously this cast is ginormous. not all of them have singing chops, which is interesting. But it's kind of the way musicals are going in movies. Just recently, Into the Woods took a chance on a few people that really just surprised.
Emily Blunt.
Right? Everyone was like,
oh my god.
Emily Blunt, she can't sing, and then blah. What the hell?
I guess she can.
Apparently, she's just got everything.
James
Looks,
Corden.
ability, just acting. Oh. James Corden, though, was Broadway, so
He was, but we didn't see him in that light.
Right, we didn't, but he is Broadway.
And then
is Broadway.
They had legit Broadway as well, so
right.
of course.
And of course, Meryl Streep, which people tend to forget her acting and singing chops often. Specifically her singing chops, because holy shit.
They were incredible.
But anyways, I'm getting off topic. Greatest Showman.
Watch Into the Woods.
We will talk about Into the Woods after this, because now I feel like we need to. But The Greatest Showman has Zendaya, Hugh Jackman, Zac Efron, Michelle Williams, just to name a few, just to name the heavy hitters. And then also, I believe her name is Keela Settle, who plays the bearded lady. She's got some
serious singing repertoire.
Yeah, she's got a good pedigree. She's all over Broadway. So so Zendaya, you were in charge of her. So.
I was in charge of her. Okay, so what I was introduced to Zendaya, like I feel like everyone else was. Zendaya was a Disney Channel star. So she was on a show called Shake It Up, and she played Cece's best friend. And so she would dance, and when you're a Disney Channel star, you have to sing, dance, and act.
Right, they go by the old standard of the triple threat.
Exactly. So you have to be a triple threat. So of course she sang for Disney. Of course she did all of that. She was in a couple of other Disney shows. Most notably, recently, she was in Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
then I have seen her. I'm like, you're talking about a show I have no clue about.
she was in Spider-Man. She was the love interest.
That's right. Was she?
Well, not.
No, I thought she wasn't the love
not
interest. I thought she was MJ.
MJ.
Was she? Oh no. That's right. You're right. She was a love interest. That's right. Yeah. Okay,
Is
I
it
got it
coming
now.
back to you?
I got it now.
Yeah,
I saw it one time. Give me a break.
So you'll know her from Spider-Man, but Disney Channel people will know her from her
her long-standing.
with Disney Channel.
Yeah.
So she has some pretty good singing chops. I mean, you have to.
Right.
With
If you're with Disney. But also, like, we were reading in some of the trivia stuff on IMDb, which, by the way, go check out the Greatest Showman's IMDb page.
The page is
it's
beautiful.
Gorgeous. I didn't even know IMDb could do stuff like this. But anyways, so Zendaya actually did all of her own stunts, but she's a trapeze artist in this. Mm-hmm. So, like, she's swinging from crazy heights. And
it makes sense since she started out on a dancing show.
That does
she didn't
make sense
start
now.
off there, but that was, like, her big break.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm excited for that. Excited to see where she goes.
Right, and then also with Hugh Jackman, obviously. His pedigree isn't as big as you think. He has some under his belt, mainly the West End of London and stuff like that. Broadway, it's more of a return for him. He did smaller things. He actually did Oklahoma in London, which I find weird.
Like, how did that go? How did you perform Oklahoma in London?
I mean, one of the main things that Hugh Jackman, beyond his body and Wolverine, that he's known for, is actually his flawless American accent. Being an Australian, that's pretty awesome, because a lot of them tend to mess it up. If you've ever watched Difficult People, I'm an American doing a Australian accent doesn't go so well, so...
No, it was an American trying to do an Australian accent, trying to do an American accent.
That's right, and then it was
Patches.
Which led to Patches.
Well, listen to our Difficult People podcast.
Yeah, that one is that one's fun. Anyways, so Hugh Jackman, everyone knows him, that he's done Les Mis. This is actually going to be his first musical since Les Mis that he's going to be doing, just going on screen. Hugh Jackman actually previewed one of the songs in his one-man show, his Broadway show. I think it's Broadway to Oz, which is really cool. I mean, it's Hugh Jackman. This is the guy.
What's not to love?
This is the guy that did Wolverine the musical, just live on air. He just had like a little bit of something to read, and it's crazy. Go look it up on YouTube. I listen to it often.
Is that your jam?
It's my jam because he sings it to what is it? It's from Les Mis, the one where it's I'm Jean Valjean. He sings his present number.
I saw it once when it first.
Who am I? That's how he sings it too.
Oh, okay.
So go listen to that.
I
'cause
feel
it's
like it came out
crazy.
in like 2014 or something, and that's when I saw it.
Les
And-
Mis.
No.
Oh, the video, the video.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was on a radio show in London.
And then
I
it was
think.
like, that's cool. Never thinks about again because I'm not madly in love with Hugh Jackman like
I'm
Leonard.
not ashamed of it. For God's sake, look at him. But beyond that, I'm sure he's an amazing man. He seems like one of the sweetest people. But we need to talk about like Zac Efron. I mean, come on.
Back to our Disney Channel stars.
Yes, our Disney Channel stars.
We've got some Disney Channel heavy hitters here. So
Yeah.
Zac Efron, obviously, High School Musical,
Which was a trilogy.
Yes, there was
Who
High School.
does that?
No, there was High School Musical 1, 2, and 3.
Now, I knock High School Musical all the time simply because I haven't seen it, and I don't plan
I
on
mean,
seeing
it is very high school.
I'm okay with not seeing it, but I mean, what I knew Zac Efron from in terms of musicals was Hairspray.
He is
because,
great in Hairspray.
I mean, it's one of my favorite movies. It's probably up there. I wouldn't say the most amazing musical, but one of my favorites.
But it's great.
Yeah.
Got Amanda Bynes.
Before her current state of affairs, her craziness. Yeah. But she was good in it too. She couldn't really sing though, in my opinion. She just
It's
kind of.
not her strong suit.
I felt like she was just there because they needed another notable name. They had Zac Efron.
And
They had
Amanda
John,
Bynes.
they had John Travolta, Michelle Pfeiffer, Amanda Bynes. Like she was a little bit of a lesser known, but even at that time, she still was okay. She had just gone. I think that was around the time of Easy A and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So she was still well known enough, and she'd come into this and felt. I think she felt like on par with the other ones there.
Yes.
But I mean, the girl who played Tracy Turnblad was crazy.
Amazing. So anyway, back to Zac Efron.
Yeah, Zac Efron.
The most beautiful man that has ever lived. 2005 Celeste here.
I don't know about
2000, 2005, 2006 Celeste coming at you. Live from High School Musical 1.
Yeah.
I love Zac Efron. You have to get your head in the game, and we're all in this together. You beautiful basketball player, you.
I don't
But-
get any of those references.
But I think he has proven himself as an actor outside of High School Musical. I mean,
I
don't-
guess.
I don't know.
I've seen like a couple of things. Honestly, every time I see him, he plays the same character. So I don't have
play
much
to your
confidence in him.
strengths.
I don't have much confidence in him, honestly.
Well, no, he's great in musicals, though.
Yeah, and,
You would know if you saw High School Musical 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, well, I don't know about that. Even in Hairspray, he played the same character. Okay, the hunky jock that everyone wants to love. You know,
But he had a heart of gold.
heart
So,
of gold.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm here for it.
I mean, I have no problem with him there being. I think Philip Carley.
He has a great voice.
I guess. I don't know. I don't know.
I love Zac Efron. I love him.
But let's talk about another one. Michelle Williams. She plays Barnum's wife. So obviously, a lot of people know her just by her face. Like I knew her from her face, not from her pedigree, because the movies that she's known for are like Shutter Island. She's mainly known from Dawson's Creek.
Brokeback Mountain.
Brokeback Mountain. She was Heath Ledger's wife. So I mean, that's kind of where everyone knows her. No one really knew she could sing, but that's because she was doing off Broadway. So like I wrote some of the stuff. Yeah, I mean it's a long list. She
Oh.
did quite a few, but one of the things that she did know, one that I wanted to note was that she was on Broadway in the 2016 revitalization of Cabaret. But mainly did off Broadway, and she even got a Tony nomination. So I mean,
Whoa.
she's got some
Get
chops.
it, girl.
She's definitely got some chops. So I'm excited to see what she's going to be doing. This is the second film that Hugh Jackman has been in with her. So they already have good chemistry on screen, and I feel like this is just going to be even better. So
And you mentioned, what was her name? I want to know how to say her name. Hang on. I'm going to find it.
which one? Settle?
Yes.
Yeah, Settle. Now there's a
Keela?
Keela. Keela. I think it's Keela.
I don't know if
Settle.
it is. Pronunciation.
One way or another. She's a Broadway baby. Like,
She is a Broadway baby.
like that was her goal, and that's what she got.
She's like, I'm here for this, and I got it.
So just like a couple of them, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, Hands on a Hard Body. She originated the role, which, by the way, Hands on the Hard Body. If you don't know what that is, that was a very short-lived Broadway. It was based off of a '90s documentary. She actually got a Tony nom for that and a bunch of other nominations. She was in the revive of Les Mis in 2014.
She was born in Hawaii. That's why it's so hard.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. She's known for South Pacific. Like, I could keep going because holy crap. And then I wrote something else down that I can't read. Looks like, oh, she was in Waitress, which is what started this whole thing because we were sitting here and up on Spotify came Sarah Bareilles' album that she did all of the Waitress songs, which, by the way, is one that we have not seen.
We haven't seen Waitress.
And it's very upsetting because I want to see it.
I want to see Waitress so bad.
Yeah. It looks amazing.
I do love all of the music from it.
Right? I
just haven't pieced it to scenes.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, it's going to be an incredible cast. What kind of prediction do you have for this? Like, I think it's going to be that musical that's kind of like The Producers and Hairspray and Into the Woods. And the ones where it actually gets into the mainstream and people start seeing it more and more. Like Book of Mormon, things like that. Mm-hmm. What do you think? Because I'll mention another part of this here really quick, is that there is an on-Broadway, it might be off-Broadway now, show called Barnum about P.T. Barnum's life, which is not the same thing. But I think this is what might revitalize that. What do you think?
Maybe. I don't know. It depends on the Broadway. They might rewrite it to be...
Yeah, they may actually just go ahead and do an on-Broadway of this, which I think is fine and all. But, yeah, I think it's one of those where it just might kick it back up, which always helps. I feel like, and mind you, I am not as in tune with Broadway as I'd like to be because I love them. But I feel like films like this help attendance on Broadway because it brings it back in for mainstreamers that don't necessarily want to go. Sort of like how things like what's the one that we still haven't seen but we really want to see? It's about the president.
You mean Hamilton?
Hamilton! I forgot the name.
You fool!
That one, like,
what's the name of Hamilton?
To this day, I don't know what brought it out into the mainstream, but I will promise you,
probably the rapping and the diverse cast.
Well, I mean, the thing is, though, when I first heard about it, I was watching like this little Broadway news thing, and I didn't think much of it because first off, I had heard a little bit of it, and I wasn't really interested in it. And I was watching the Tony Awards one day, and I saw a little bit of it. I'm like, I don't know, I don't feel the connection.
Rapping, but they did cast in a very interesting way for Hamilton.
Right, that
it was colorblind casting. They didn't care what you looked like. If you could do the scene and you could sing the song, you were there.
Yeah, and I remember the controversy from that alone.
Mm-hmm. They're like, why are these people black? They weren't black.
I don't know.
Why does it matter?
Exactly. I mean,
that's what they said. Why does it matter? They're talented.
Yeah, but like, I feel like this is definitely going to be another one of those that makes Broadway cool again for a time being, and then it'll pull it back and back and forth. It's getting a ton of press.
It's Hugh Jackman.
I feel like Hugh Jackman. I'm not 100% sure who is even like producing this movie. Because it's the first film for the director. Like, this is his first film.
His first film. That seems risky.
Yeah, so he was visual. Yeah. See? First film. He's doing a Naruto one next.
Perf.
That's fantastic.
This is so good.
But I can see where he worked with Hugh Jackman then, because I'm looking at his IMDb page, and oh no, not the same magician. So no, I don't even know where all this came from.
Where are you from, sir?
Look at
What
that.
is your
Different
story?
magician. Highly recommend going seeing that. It's also has Hugh Jackman, and if you can find it, it's streaming everywhere. But yeah, incredible cast. It's getting a crazy amount of press. It is being put out by. I need to stop spitting into the freaking mic here. I don't know who's putting it out. Oh, 20th Century Fox. So, maybe that's it too. They haven't had a big hitter yet this year. I can't think of a particular one. Well, I guess technically Spider-Man.
That's,
Because Spider-Man, still attached to them a little bit.
but that wasn't theirs. That's why it was good.
That's right. Well, yeah, I have high hopes for this. 41 more days to go from this time. By the
Apparently,
time
41 days, 4 hours, 41 minutes, and 11 seconds.
which they have a countdown on IMDb, so check it out. It's in theaters December 20th. Definitely go and give it a shot. I thought we could come up with a little quick list, because you and I know them pretty much off the top of our head, of like the best musicals for people to start with that are just not into them. For my first one would have to be Across the Universe. If you're into the Beatles,
Because it's like a pseudo musical.
yeah. So Across the Universe is the story of apparently of a guy who's basically traveling all over the place, and
He's from London. No, he's not from London. He's from.
London, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, England.
He's from England. He comes to America.
Yeah, and he meets a girl. He meets a bunch of other people. They
have
there's something
some
about
drugs.
draft.
Yeah, there's the draft. There's drugs. It takes place during the 70s.
I think the best way to describe it is kids trying to live, young adults trying to live in the time of Vietnam. But it's all
to the soundtrack of Beatles
Yeah.
and one. What's his face? What to do?
Oh no, that's also Beatles. So what it was I think he did a rendition of it. And
okay.
She's talking about oh great, now you've completely genied it from my head.
Or something. Or,
Joe Cocker.
There you go.
There you go. No, he's I think he took that, or I can't remember the exchange it is, but that is actually a Beatles song
originally.
So I
just
feel
never
like
heard it by the Beatles.
it's not as good. Honestly.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I would highly recommend seeing that one first if you're into trippiness. Gets a little weird real quick.
It does
though.
get a little weird because of the drugs.
Yeah. You got one?
Of course.
What?
Oh, for people that are not, The Producers, I feel like is a great one for people that are
Thank
not
you.
into musicals.
Thank you. I was going to mention it, but then I was like, no. No, I'm going to see if she says it.
Now, I would completely say that it is a great musical for people that are not into musicals.
okay, so
because one, it's hilarious.
Right?
It's so funny.
So the Producers, the one we're talking about in particular, it was the remake after the Broadway version. So it's a Mel Brooks film, based on a Mel Brooks film, based on a Broadway by Mel Brooks. And it is hilarious. About two guys trying to scam investors out of money to make the worst show on Broadway. Springtime for Hitler. It has some of the best moments.
Springtime for Hitler.
The cast is phenomenal. You wouldn't even assume half these people would be good at what they're doing.
Right? Nathan Lane.
Well, first off, Nathan Lane and
Matthew
Broderick, those two originated the roles on Broadway, so they were the originals.
Okay.
But the one that threw me that I absolutely
Will
love
Ferrell?
is Will Ferrell as the
He's
Nazi.
so good.
Oh my god!
As the gay Nazi.
No, he didn't end up playing the gay Nazi.
Oh,
he
that's
got
right.
injured, and then the other guy goes up, plays
Yeah, plays the gay Nazi.
Gay Hitler, and it's just amazing. Like, I love that film. I could watch it all day long, all night. It is one of those that if I could, I would dress a whole room in things from that Broadway, from that show, from that anything. Like, it's so good. The original cast from I believe it was the 70s version of the movie was Gene Hackman and a guy whose name I always forget, which like 90% of people would kill me because he was well known. Honestly,
That's okay. I don't know anyone from the 70s.
oh, it was in 1967. Sorry, it was 1967 with Zero Mostel, Gene Wilder, Estelle Winwood, Renee Taylor, and I'm sure somewhere in there. No, she's not in there. So it was before him casting Madeline Kahn and everything. That's a good movie. Definitely not as good as the remake Broadway.
Oh, yeah.
So
It's hilarious. Give it a go.
Please do.
If you're like, I'm not really into musicals,
This is the one you wanna start
You will
with.
be into this musical.
oh god, yes. Another one we just talked about it a little bit ago, Into the Woods, which came out in like 2016.
Or like 2015.
One of those two. It came out not too long ago, is what we're trying to say.
And it had Emily Blunt, and she was amazing.
Emily Blunt, James Corden, Meryl Streep, like that's just right off the bat. But you also have Anna Kendrick, James Marsden, like,
Hannah Kendrick was amazing in it.
and it's the story of a bunch of fairy tale like creatures. I can only
Characters?
characters. There we go. Like Cinderella, Jack and the Beanstalk, the baker and his wife, which is not a story from like our fairy tales, but it is a Grimm's fairy tale thing. And then you have a witch that's like controlling
And
everybody.
Chris Pine is in it. You want a prince? You want Chris Pine?
Oh my god!
Ooh.
So
Ooh.
I'm gonna pull up the actual synopsis on it because I feel like I know what it's about.
But do you know what it's about? Johnny Depp is in it for like 2 seconds.
And
I feel
he
like
gets all this
I
praise
feel
for
like
it. That's so stupid.
when the movie came out, they were like,
Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp is in this. He was in like 3 scenes. I was like, bye, Johnny Depp.
He even said himself, he's like, I sang one song and then I died.
Exactly.
So it's a witch tasks the childless baker and his wife with procuring magical items from classic fairy tales to reverse a curse put on their family tree so that they can have a child. It's incredible. And when you think the movie's over, it just starts over again, and it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's heart-wrenching. It's funny. Go watch it. I mean, if you want to watch something that's modern right now, watch that. Otherwise, Hairspray.
Hairspray's always a good
Hairspray's
one.
always good. We already talked about that.
Always a good one.
Yeah.
Love me some Hairspray. Love me some Sound of Music. Always.
Oh Lord! Don't go watch Sound of Music.
Watch Sound of Music.
Don't do it. If we're gonna
Julie
say,
Andrews is a treasure.
I mean, honestly, most people have at least one under their belt, which is Mary Poppins, or any of like Beauty and the Beast, or anything that you've watched. Those are all musicals, and those are all really good, and they're a good example of how we try and integrate them into different stages of life, because most of us start out with watching musicals.
Aladdin has a musical now.
Well, it was a musical.
Yeah.
The original cartoon
Well,
was
the
a musical.
original cartoon, but it's on Broadway.
Well, yeah, it's
So
on
was
Broadway.
Frozen
Lion King's on Broadway. I mean, it's been on Broadway forever.
forever, but it's such a good one.
But yeah, it's stuff like that. But I mean, if she's going to throw out Sound of Music, I'm going to throw out one of my favorites, which is called Top of the Morning. You can't find it anywhere, but I thought I'd throw it out there.
You can't actually watch this musical, but you know it's great.
But I do recommend any of the Fred Astaire movies, Top Hat. If you're into older movies, please, for the love of God, don't go watch it and be like, I don't like old movies. Maybe I'll like me. You won't like it. Just
You
don't
won't
do it.
like
Don't
it.
bother. Just walk away now. Just don't do it.
You know what's a musical that we all start with? Wizard of Oz.
That's one that I always bypass. You know what I mean? Because it just feels like it's so ingrained in
It's
me.
so a part of our society.
Right. I mean, that's one of probably the most watched musicals.
Exactly.
And they have so many renditions of it. Please don't watch the one with the most recent one with what's his face.
With Michael Jackson?
No. That's a different thing. That's that one's bad too. I think it's just called Oz. It just
Oz
recently
the Great and Powerful?
yeah, Oz the Great and Powerful. Please, for the love of God, don't go watch that. James Franco, what did you do to that movie? Like, come on. The freaking movie was like 98% CG. I don't even understand why they had actors. Like, just make it all animated and get it over with, for
You
God's
need the
sake.
people to stand in between the CG.
No, just animate the damn thing. Obviously, you didn't want to take them anywhere. You wanted to just throw them in a giant fucking
Green box.
green box. And that movie pissed me off because I was so excited for it. You're finally going to tell the story of Oz, the Great and Powerful, and yet you didn't, and you got the worst person to do it in. Like, come on. I even tried really hard to tell people, go give it a chance. But what I want to say is, if you're gonna go watch any movie that deals with like a great and powerful man, watch Dr. Parnassus. Now that's a movie that's super obscure, and it was Heath Ledger's last movie. So much last movie that he was right in the middle of it when he died.
Yeah, when he died.
And they had to go get Johnny Depp and a bunch of other people to fill in for him. That, and they had to change the plot, but I don't remember the full name of it because it's like something really, really weird. Kind of like Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium, which is also good. Gene Wilder. Check that out. I'm throwing out a lot of movies right now.
Check out all the things. You know.
Dr. Parnassus. The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus. It was a 2009 film. It's really weird. It's really trippy, but it's the battle between heaven, hell, good and evil, and the like terror inside of you. But he's kind of like an Oz character. It's really, really cool. It has nothing to do with musicals.
I've never seen that one. But...
I'm going to show it to you because it's really, really, really good.
Cool.
It's just freaky.
And then to top it all off, guys, just go watch Grease.
Oh, Grease.
You
Holy
can never
crap.
go wrong with some old school John Travolta
Like-
and some leather pants.
Well, I mean, yeah. I guess. Or Boogie Nights. Saturday Night Fever.
Mm-hmm.
Any of
Saturday Night
those?
Fever.
Come on, you got
Singing
the
in the
Bee Gees.
Rain.
No. Singing in the Rain. Oh, yeah, there you go. If you want to talk about an old movie that still holds up, Singing in the Rain.
Love
God,
it.
That's such a good movie.
Such a good movie.
It's one of my favorite Gene Kelly movies. Mind you, I have a lot like American in Paris and stuff like that, but come on. Yeah, you got to go with Singing in the Rain on days when it's actually raining outside and it's cold. It's my favorite movie to watch, especially the Technicolor version of it that they have that you can go find. Oh, so beautiful.
And then, if you're curious, High School Musical.
Don't be that curious.
Because we're all in this together.
We're not all in this together.
We're all in this together.
Oh, Lord.
Wildcats.
But let's say you're into a musical, like you want to watch one, right? But you want to watch a short one. I've got just the one for you. Well, there's a few, but I'm going to give you this one. Bob's Burgers. There's an episode where he gets stuck on a toilet, and it turns into an incredible musical with him stuck on the toilet.
It's great.
I don't remember the season. Can you find that real quick?
Yes,
There's a
I'm pulling it up.
couple of them, mind you. There's
I
like
think it was last season, but
yeah,
I'm
it
not
was
sure.
last season. It was how they ended it that season, and it was so perfect. But go see that.
Bob's Burgers has some great music in
Oh my
general.
God.
If you want a musical TV show,
Yes.
on the later episodes,
That's fantastic. You even have the Coochie Copy one.
with the
Her
good
Fever
Coochie
Dream.
Copy and the bad Coochie Copy.
I think I loved the one where they're all the song when they're all standing outside of Louise's room, and they're singing to her.
Yes.
It's just such. Oh my God! If anybody from Bob's Burgers is listening, continue doing these amazing things because
We have this soundtrack.
I bought your soundtrack. I listen to it. I use it to get up in the morning. That's how much I love it.
So good.
So what season are they on? Even I don't
They're
even
on
know.
season 8 right now.
Pretty sure it was like season 7, the final season of
I
that.
don't think it was the final one.
I'm almost 90% sure.
I don't think it was.
Like
Okay, it was the last episode of season 6.
6. Okay, season 6.
Called Glued, Where's My Bob?
Nothing about that says musical.
But it's a beautiful musical.
Oh, okay. Anyway, it's also obviously Family Guy because Seth MacFarlane loves anything musical. My favorite one is the Christmas episode that they did, like
Which one?
quite a few years back. The one where Stewie is going to kill Santa.
Oh, that is a good one.
That's one of my favorites. I'm going to look it up right now.
Was it season 10 or something?
I think so. It's quite a few years back. It was before I think their 200th episode, so maybe like 9 or 8. I mean, most people when they talk about Family Guy episodes, they usually talk about their Star Wars trilogy. I talk about their musical ones because I love them
Because
that much.
you're you.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes. I honestly, to all of our listeners, I don't know why we haven't been talking about musicals. I feel like I've done you
Because we love them.
right. I mean, we have we have seen so many. I mean, our relationship was built on musicals.
It was.
It honestly was. When we first started dating, I went out of my way to try and get us to go to Broadways and stuff just to impress her.
We saw Cats for my birthday.
We went to San Diego.
After dating for like 2 months, we saw Cats.
I spent a crap ton of money on these tickets, right? So what happened was I was like, okay, I gotta lock this down. I gotta make sure
I gotta lock this woman down.
So I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy tickets to a musical. Looking through, we see that Cats is going. I've never seen it, and I had no desire to see it because in my mind, I remembered
Edie's Licious Cats.
Yes, these 80s weird, just out of this world kind of Broadway that I'd been seeing since I was a little kid. And I'm like, I have no desire to see that. There's nothing there. I think I had mentioned it to you, or I showed you, or you saw it when I was looking at it, and you like freaked the fuck out. And I was like, oh crap, I guess I gotta go see Cats.
Gotta go see Cats.
So, and also I was actually in San Diego prior, looking around the downtown area where this was, just outside of Del Mar. Like once you got into the actual arts district of San Diego, and there it was, it's saying that this Cats was going to be there. It's like, okay, cool. So, being from Fresno, California, my tickets normally range between $40 and $60. These did not. These ranged between $100 and $120. So I was like, oh, dear Lord, where are we going to sit? It's almost all full. Oh, look, the most expensive tickets are up front, and that's all they have open. So
better get them.
Yep. Being the foolish college student, I was like, I'll make money, more money. So I bought those, and then I was like, well, I have no way we're going to be able to stay anywhere. So paid $500 for a room in Del Mar, California.
It was beautiful.
And I'm
best birthday ever.
We get down there after nearly dying because it's a horrible trip.
Oh man, traffic was just really bad.
It's always bad going to San Diego.
San Diego's about 6 hours from us on a good day.
Yeah. So we get there. I'm like stressed to no end because I almost slammed into the back of another car while driving.
Was it one of those friggin' Priuses?
I think it was a Prius. It was at least caused by a Prius.
It was like one of those trips.
It was my
where
fault because I wasn't really paying attention when I should have been.
But like it seemed like at every turn a Prius was like doing something, and you're like, "Why are you doing this, Prius?"
So we finally get down there. I'm like, okay, this is great. We're just gonna go see this musical. We start walking around Del Mar because we had some time to kill. And we get in front of this little restaurant.
And they like pull us in.
My favorite, this was the most intelligent thing that I've ever seen someone do to get you into a restaurant. We were walking by it. Guy walks out, steps in front of us, says, "Oh, your table's ready." So, what? And being us, we were not going to fight him. We were just like, thanks.
We're awkward people. We can't say no.
So he leads us in the front door, and I just turned to her, and I remember saying, if he kills us, at least we might get a meal out of it. So we get in there. He sets us outside. And I'm like, okay, should we just leave? We should probably just leave. But then the waiter comes again. And we're like, oh, I will have a Dr. Pepper.
Since we're here.
So he goes away. I'm looking at the menu. I'm like, I don't see anything. Oh, I see a couple of things. So we get some food. It's phenomenal. Amazing.
I think it's called The Secret Garden in Del Mar. And it's delicious.
Yes. And we get this amazing food and an amazing dessert. It was the best thing. And it wasn't expensive, which was the craziest part of it.
Which we cared about because we were poor college kids before we were poor adults.
And I had spent like almost $1,000 on Cats tickets. But that's another story, I guess.
Plus hotel and gas and all the rest of it.
It was such an expensive trip just to see Cats. I will never do that again because I now know there are better ways of doing it. So we go, we get into Cats. Let me throw this out here. Whenever you go and see something off Broadway, definitely check what kind of venue you're going to. This was a small venue, so everything was limited. We were only allowed one playbill.
Yeah, like per couple.
Yeah, it was ridiculous in my opinion because I like keeping the playbills. And you and I, normally we have two playbills so that one of us, if we wanted to go and get autographs from people in Broadway and stuff. So we get in, like, okay, this is a very small venue. This stage was teeny tiny. Like, it was a very small stage. And we sit down. We're kind of up front. We're off to the right
We're
hand
like,
side.
yeah, off to the side.
But I'm like, all right, I'm here for this. Let's see if my $1,000 was worth it. We start, and it's amazing. Beginning
That
to
was
end,
such a good company.
It was so well done. The scenes were incredible. They utilized that space so beautifully. The people were gorgeous. Just saying it right now.
Right? How do you look good in a unitard?
Specifically a cat unitard.
How do you look so beautiful?
We were singing those songs forever. I really regret being as poor as I was when we went because I wish I would have bought a poster. I would have bought a poster now. Like now I would go buy a poster. But I really
know
wish
that
we
you
could have been
make
there.
real people money.
And we didn't even wait in line to go and like get any.
No, we
Didn't
didn't. We were so
autographs.
young, so naive.
We were. But yeah, so that was one of the first second major trips we had taken together.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that totally got her to want to date all of this amazingness.
When he means all of it, no,
there was less of me back then.
there was
But
less to love.
what was when I went to Les Mis with another woman,
He did. He went to Les Mis with another woman.
and I had asked her prior. We were just friends. Like, you sure you're okay with this? Yeah, I'm fine.
It's fine.
But it
I'm
just so
fine.
hap-
It's not like you're my boyfriend.
But it just so happened that she waited up all night until I finally got done. And I had actually surprised her because what we did was the girl I was with, we had been friends for a little while. So her and I were just there as friends. We just wanted to go see Les Mis. And she couldn't go that night. I believe you were like babysitting or something. I don't remember what it was. But I had offered it to you and you said no. So I was like, okay, no big deal. I'll just.
And everyone
ask
thought we were
somebody else.
dating. So I was like, no.
So we get done. She's like, hey, there's like someone playing in there that is just incredible. I've already met them and talked to them, like one of the actors. So I know that I can get us, like, to be able to talk to them, get autographs. You cool with waiting behind with me? I'm like, yeah, sure. That's no problem. Let's go. So we go back. We end up meeting everybody, the entire cast. And I'm like, you know what? I got the playbill. I'm going to give it to Celeste. That's what's going to happen now. So this is my
My
goal.
romantic gesture.
Yeah, so I get all of them to sign. I don't know where that playbill is now, but
It's in a box somewhere.
So I drop off this other girl, text Celeste like, hey, yep. Normally, whenever I used to text her, it'd be like a few minutes later or an hour later, but snap, immediately, yeah, I'm up, what's up? So I'm like, hey, can I come by? I have something for you. Would you mind? No. Get there, hand her the playbill, and gives me the longest hug I've ever gotten from this girl. And like, not too long later, we started dating. I still say it was Les Mis that started it all. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
I was like, what you doing there with someone else? I mean, that someone else is a friend. Like,
Yeah, so it didn't actually matter.
It didn't-
And not only that, but she knew that she was just a friend. But
like I was friends with her. Like,
so yeah, for us, musicals are a big part of our life, big part of our relationship. It definitely built up. That was our first common ground, I want to say, was musicals, because we had a lot of ground to make up. We did not have a lot of things
we
in
didn't
common.
have anything in common.
It took some time, but we got
Dating
there.
is hard, guys.
So
That's why I got married. Dating is hard.
exactly. Once this is done, I'm done. So
Exactly. I don't want to. I'll be a hermit
hermit.
with a bunch of pugs or
There we
something.
go. So we're going to try and bring you this as often as we possibly can. I'd love to be able to do it every Monday, but I know that's not going to be possible, especially since Trevor and I do Net Flindy. But we will do it as often as we can because we freaking love musicals.
Because it's our podcast, and why not?
And why not? So thank you so much for joining us for the first Musical Monday on a Tuesday, but it still counts, so that's fine. For myself and my beautiful wife, Celeste.
Woo!
So why don't you go out, try some musicals, get a little song in your heart, and we will talk to you later. See ya.
Toodles.